I'm 60 years young. Shh, don't tell anybody I told you. I normally don't tell people my age. I'll be 61 in 6 months, and I'm in the process of starting over. I've started over multiple times in my life. I've been married twice, divorced once. I've moved more times than I can count. And all of these things required me to start over. So, first, I moved from Jamaica to Canada alone as a young adult after I graduated high school and after I started my first job as a telephone operator in Jamaica. And when I got to Canada, I worked as a babysitter for a year before I found work as a customer service representative for a legal office supply company. I worked in that job for a year and then I found a better job as an accounting clerk in an insurance company. And I stayed in that job for a couple of years before I quit and went back to school to study social work. By the time I graduated my social work program, I was a single mom of two little boys. I had to work really hard as a mom in order to graduate my program. And I felt very proud that I was able to graduate my program with honors. I felt extremely aligned with my career path, so I thought I was going to stay in that career field for the rest of my life. After graduation, I was hired as a coordinator in healthcare, and this was a good job that paid much better than the average social work job. So that really was meaningful to me. I enjoyed my job. I had a great team. I had variety in my work, and I was making a difference in people's lives. So for several years, I worked at this job, but the stress of the job and the stress of life itself eventually took its toll on me, and so I quit to start over in South Korea. From social worker in Canada to ESL teacher in South Korea to life coach and motivational speaker in the US. So I was living in Florida. I had been coaching clients for several years. I was being booked to speak on some stages and was even traveling to speak. This reputable organization found me in January of 2020 online. They contacted me, booked me to speak at an event in March of 2020. So they were going to pay for my travel expenses. They were going to pay me my biggest speaking paycheck yet. So I was very pumped and I had already spent the money in my head. Then COVID-19 hit, and with that, poof, speaking contract and all the coaching clients disappeared. It's as though they had never existed. Initially, I was in a state of utter shock and disbelief. Then I think I was begging God, life, praying for things to return to normal. That eventually turned to fear when it didn't go back to normal. And eventually, I settled into realizing I had more time on my hands than ever before. And I started asking myself what I was being inspired to do. I recall that for years I wanted to become a real estate investor, but I couldn't seem to find the time to study it because I was busy coaching and speaking, too busy coaching and speaking. So this was the time. So I began to study it. I enjoyed it. I began doing it, and it's made a huge difference in my life. And now I've moved or traveled to my sixth country, and I'm being nudged to become a content creator. For years, I would watch YouTube and see people creating content, and I thought, I can't do that. I was too afraid. But here I am, 2 videos in, and I'm doing it afraid. How about you? Your story matters to me. Are you ready to start reinventing yourself? Drop a comment down below to let me know where you're starting from. And if you want some help to reinvent yourself this summer, we've got a reinvention starter journal with your name on it. Link in the description down below. And if you're ready for the full journal plus guided audio series, it is now available. Link in the description down below. In this video, I'm sharing a little piece of my story, not as a guru, not even as a guide really, but just as somebody who has walked this journey. And so if you're sitting with a little whisper that says, there is more, I want to let you know there is. You see, one of the biggest challenges that I've had to overcome in starting over as a content creator is I've had to get comfortable being on camera. It's still a work in progress, but you get where I'm coming from. I love talking to people. If you give me a room and a script and a moment to psych myself up, I can bring the energy and I can connect with people. But talking to a camera, that feels completely unnatural to me because there's no energy exchange in it. It's just me, the glass lens, and silence. I have to do all the work. I have to bring all the energy, all the life, all the story, all by myself. Then there's the anxiety of putting myself out there. What if I'm judged? What if I'm rejected? What if they don't like me? And there's a little part of me that genuinely felt like I might die from being seen so openly. So I would plan to start filming, gave myself that, but there were excuses would creep in. Excuses like, I didn't get enough sleep last night, or my face looks puffy today, or I didn't practice enough, so I'll do it tomorrow. And then days would go by and weeks, and I couldn't get started. And I've come to realize what I was really dealing with was fear. I was afraid of looking foolish. I was afraid of being vulnerable. I was afraid of failing. And then there is this part of me that is super results oriented. She thinks in terms of the numbers. What if I don't get any views? What if nobody watches? And what if I put all this energy and effort into sharing my story and nobody even cares? I had to sit with all of that. And then I would watch some more YouTube. And then God, the creator, universe, would send me messages through some content creators. Shout out to Brenda Turner, to Alexa Sarinoha, and to Ling and Lam for their messages that arrived just on time to get me out of hiding, to get me in front of the camera to start filming. I'll share some insights and lessons. Lesson number 1, you don't fear what's familiar. You fear being stretched. It's a good sign that you're growing and evolving. Lesson number 2, overthinking is fear in disguise and it can keep you stuck. I came up with all kinds of excuses as to why I couldn't start. And underneath it all was fear. I was scared. Lesson number 3, I have had to learn to stop talking to the many and start talking to the one. If even one woman feels less alone in the world, starts taking action towards her goals and her dreams, then I've done my part. Lesson number 4, showing up on camera is not about ego, it's about service. I'm here to be of service to those who need my help and to give voice to stories that need to be heard, including my own. Lesson number 5, and the biggest realization of all, I realize I don't need to feel the energy in order to begin. My presence is powerful enough, so there's no need for me to perform or put on an act. So if you're scared to begin, scared to be seen, scared that you're too old or too late or too much, I see you. I feel you. I am you. And I'm here to tell you it's not too late. Start anyway. Be you anyway. Show up anyway. And let the world feel you and see you and feel your story. If this is the reminder that you needed today, I would love to hear from you what it stirred up inside. Leave a comment down below to let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, you're going to enjoy what's coming next, which is 5 books you must read in 2025. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time. Bye for now.